Before we get started, I'm going to apologize for the raspiness in my voice. I think I'm coming down with a little bit of a bug, but I wanted to get this video out because I had some things to get off my chest. This is going to take more of the form of a rant than it will one of the other videos that I put up, and I apologize if it gets a little preachy, but I got to go in. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you are getting anything from the content, you're enjoying the content, that you consider subscribing. It really helps me out. It helps the channel out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special. Just click the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications when we drop new videos. Also, if you're already a member, I want to say thank you. I genuinely appreciate you guys taking the time, because I understand that you don't have to take the time to watch the videos and that you don't owe me that. And I really appreciate the opportunity to give you guys something, and I appreciate the fact that you're taking the time to watch it. So thank you for that. Now, let's get it. I want to talk about this Kody dude. Now, there may be some question as to why I put a crown on his head. I put a crown on his head because, quite frankly, he declared himself the King Patriarch earlier in the season, and I thought that was hilarious because this dude is literally the king of Jack and shit, and Jack just left town. Pardon my French, but this brother makes me bilingual. This dude just frustrates me to no end. Part of the reason why he frustrates me is because he holds himself out as like a man's man type dude who's going to lead the way, show the way, and guide young men into the way of how to be a man, when the truth of the matter is the only thing that I see out of him consistently is immaturity. He's immature with his wives, the ladies in his life. He's immature with the children in his life. Push comes down to shove, you can't hold somebody accountable for something if they refuse to take responsibility for that thing. He refuses to take responsibility for his actions within this marriage. He refuses to take responsibility for his actions with his kids and why he's not there for his kids. You can't, as much as he sits there and talks about you had a choice to make, you made a decision, you did what you wanted to do, and I don't understand, now you gotta live with the consequences. You gotta live with the consequences by yourself. As much as he says that, he never takes responsibility for his own decisions. He never looks at himself and says, you know what? Maybe I should have got on a plane, checked on my daughter when she was going for surgery. Maybe I should have got on a plane and went down and looked in on my granddaughter when she was getting her foot knocked off. Maybe these are things that the kids are remembering why they want to deal with me. Maybe this is why they don't want to mess with me. Maybe this is why they don't like me. Instead of him looking at Christine and saying, oh, you're talking to the kids, tell them I don't love you and I'm breaking up with you and I don't treat you like a full intimate wife, that's why they don't want to hang out with me. You are the most out of touch dude I have ever seen, and it burns me up. The fact that you have 18 children, you have 18 lives that you're responsible for, and he refuses to take accountability or responsibility for those lives. And there's nobody who's holding them accountable, because to be honest with you, you can look at the wives or the mothers and say, oh, you guys should be doing this, you should be doing that. But the truth of the matter is, there's nothing they could do to make him take responsibility. If there's a non-custodial or custodial parent out there, they understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you have your children, there's nothing you can do to make a non-custodial parent, whether it's the baby daddy, the baby mama, whoever, be responsible and be accountable when they refuse to do the basic things that are necessary to make sure your kids are okay. That's ridiculous. If you have a situation where you are a man who makes kids with somebody and you don't even recognize your kids, you don't want to help your kids, a kid is a kid and they're going to make decisions. Guess what, dude? That's part of the damn gig. Dealing with your children when they make mistakes or they do things that you don't necessarily approve of, that's your job. Isn't to make sure that they make every right decision. You have to do the right thing every time, all the time. That's not your job. That's not the gig. They have freedom of will. They have the power to determine which way their lives go. They have the power of choice. That's what it is. Your job as a parent is twofold. One, you should be teaching them how to make better choices. You should be teaching them that the choices that they can make aren't, bilateral. They don't have to choose yes or no, 0 or 1. They don't have to choose just one of two choices. They have many choices. They just have to step back and have the ability to be able to see the entire board. not just the one move in front of them. That's where a lot of people make mistakes, is that they start to feel like the only move they have is this one thing. Either I do this or I don't do this. You have to teach your kids that there's a spectrum of choices that they can make. Sometimes the choices that they have to make are going to be difficult. Sometimes it's going to be hard. Not all of life choices are easy. That's what makes it life. If life was on easy mode for everybody, and you can say, oh, if I just go home and study, then I will definitely be a millionaire and I'll never have financial problems. Oh, if I'm good to my spouse, then I'm never going to get divorced or we're never going to break up. If life was that easy, everybody would be winning. Life is hard and life is unfair. Life is unfair. There's nothing fair about this. Fair is what you pay to get on a damn bus. That's what fairness is. That's what fair is. In life, you could be faithful to your wife. You could be giving everything you got to your wife. You could be 100% invested in the marriage and a relationship, and she could still decide one day that you aren't the guy that she wants to spend the rest of her life with. And you have to live with that. Your kids, you might be saying to your kids, I want you to go to college. I want you to get this job or that job. They might look you in the face and say, Dad, Mom, I want to be an artist. I want to be a guitar player in a ska band, whatever. And your job as a parent is sometimes just to be there to help pick up the pieces when they do make a bad choice or they do make a mistake. Your job isn't to stand there and tell them, well, you got to live with your choices, son. That's it. Sorry. And be out. Your job is to help them and guide them and be there for them. You should be the shoulder to cry on when they have upset moments. Anybody can be there when your kids are doing well. Anybody can be there when they're winning. Anybody can be there when everything is going their way. But it takes a parent and a parent's love to get them through the hard times when they start to struggle, when they start to fall down, when they aren't getting the things that they need. And to be honest with Kody, here's the thing that burns me up to no end. His kids have a disagreement with him because he refuses to be there for them when they need him. Now, when Isabel came back and everything turned out all right for her surgery, that's not when she needed her father. She needed her father when she was scared. When she was going in and she was going to go see a doctor, she's going into a town or a part of the country where she's maybe never been in, and she's going to be in a hospital. As a grown-ass man, going into a hospital and having somebody operate on my back would horrify me. Thank God there's nothing wrong with I don't have those type of issues, but if I did, I couldn't imagine just being okay with it. Oh yeah, I'm going to go down there. Don't worry about it. I can go down there and chill by myself. I just go to the steak place and maybe get something to eat before I swing into surgery and get them to bang around my back. Are you nuts? That's crazy for me. I couldn't imagine being 14, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old. And looking at your father and asking him, Dad, you here? I'm asking you to come down there with me. No, daughter, I got other things to do. Things that are clearly more important than you. Like I got a wedding, I got gun stuff to do, I got business stuff. And you know, to be honest with you, I have other kids that I'm worried about. Yeah, that's what every kid wants to hear when they have a problem. Oh, sorry, son, I got other children. That's why you have a problem with your kids. It ain't Christine. And you stand on that porch and you declare that you want her to be accountable and you don't want her running away. Are you insane? Are you insane? You guys have been having this conversation for years. Before I started filming this, I went and I asked my kids. I said, son, daughter, because that's what I have, son, daughter. How do you hold somebody accountable when they refuse to take responsibility? You know what they both said to me? And they're in separate rooms, in separate parts of the house. They both said, Dad, you can't. Christine can't hold Kody accountable. She can't make him do anything that he doesn't want to do. Kody's going to do what he wants to do. But you have to deal with the fallout of your decisions. You're sitting there complaining about Christine like she broke your family. Dude, she didn't break your family. If your family was already tight and in good repair, then Christine leaving would not damage your family at all. Much like the relationship between Christine and Janelle, the fact that she's leaving isn't going to throw a big monkey wrench into their relationship. You know why? Because they have a relationship already. And no, Christine ain't trying to formulate a relationship with your homegirl, Robin. She ain't trying to have a relationship today because she didn't have one yesterday. Sorry, that's life. And it's just this whole thing. It just shows and it decries the fact of Kody's lack of leadership, his lack of compassion, his lack of understanding, his lack of being involved, his lack of being there for his kids and doing the things that are necessary. And to be honest with you, if you have a good woman, brother, if you have a good woman and she is about her children, you mistreating her children will cause you to lose that damn good woman. That's the truth of the matter. Maybe part of the reason why you don't get along with Christine, maybe Christine would have hung in there and stuck it out with you if it was just her. But when you started mistreating her children and she got to sit there on first hand because, yeah, Isabel might have gave you the strong face when she was sitting there talking to you, but then she cried when she went in the house. Christine had to deal with that. With maybe your daughter Gwendolyn, maybe she wanted to see her father, spend time with her father, but she couldn't because you refused to go over to the house because you had other responsibilities. When Janelle's two older boys were sitting out there at the Coyote Pass helping you shuck goddamn trees, which is all you seem to do, and take interest in. You take more interest in them dang on trees than you do your children. That's ridiculous to me. You take more interest in dead trees than you do your living children. And you wonder why you don't have a relationship with them. Are you nuts? But when they stood out there and them young men, those young men stood out there and they cried about not being able to spend time with their father, that broke my heart. That broke my heart. And that right there, that moment alone makes you an ass. That's what makes you an ass. That's why you don't have a relationship with your kids. That's why. It's not Christine. It's not the relationship she has with your other wives because she don't get along with Robin. Because for you, the sun rises and sets in the crack of Robin's ass for you. But for the rest of the family and for the rest of the world, that's not the case. So Christine doesn't owe Robin anything. And when push comes down to shove, your family is constructed the way it is because that's the way you designed it. You wanted everybody to operate separate and have separate households and operate as though they're independent of the family. Well, when the family hits the ground and everything is segmented, it's going to break apart. When it falls under stress and tension, it will break apart. It doesn't take much to destroy something that's not put together well and is not unified. It doesn't take a whole lot to break that apart. And that's the way you set up your family. Those were the choices that you made. So if you want somebody to take accountability and responsibility for the things they did, then you need to look in the mirror, brother. There's a mirror at your house, I'm sure, because something got to help Robin put them eyebrows on her head. So I know you got a mirror there. You need to push her aside one day, baby. Let me just take a look at this mirror. Take a good long look at that dude standing there. And for everybody who is in a situation similar to this, trust me when I tell you, there is no point in you having and continuing a conversation with somebody who is this delusional. Makes no sense. When Kody started going off, it actually put me in mind of when I was younger. I was in high school. I went to school in the center city, so I had to catch a bus and a train, subway to get to school. Sometimes they'd have mentally unstable people on the train, and people would lose their stuff, and they start going crazy. And you be sitting there like, why is it that people always lose their mind right in front of the door? Why is that? Right? And then Kody's standing right there on the way off the porch, like into the driveway. He's standing there going crazy, talking all this craziness that makes no sense. And Christine had that look on her face like, okay, all right. Okay. I don't want to say nothing and set you off further than you already set off. It doesn't matter how much passion that you try to create this little moment. If you want to have a relationship with your kids and you want to foster a relationship with your wives, between your wives, try being the example. You have a whole woman that's sitting right there. Mary is sitting right there waiting for you to come back home. And you're sitting there yelling at Christine because she stopped trying and she's not trying to get the relationship together. Mary is willing to do whatever is necessary, go to counseling, talk to you. She's praying for you to come back around. She's enduring all kinds of disrespect and everything else for you to come back and spend time with her, and you refuse to do it. So when Mary, if she packs a bag and leaves, is your family breaking apart Mary's fault? Or is it going to be Janelle next? You're going to be the punching bag for you to go after her. Look, at the end of the day, like I said from the beginning, you can't have people be accountable when they refuse to be responsible. My name is James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.